on. They're supporting what some critics have declared, quote, Motorhead's best album ever, Inferno. Check out iMotorhead.com for the show nearest you. Lemmy, first and foremost, I got to say congratulations on the Grammy win this year.
Yeah, right.
That is very, very much deserved. But I got to admit, I was somewhat surprised, and maybe you were, that 30 years of making amazing Motorhead music, and you won a Grammy for a cover of a song from a band that you influenced, Metallica's Whiplash. Was that a surprise to you?
It's just a business telling us not to get too cocky, you know, not to get too excited. I don't know, you know, why they picked that, because it's like metal more, I suppose, than the stuff we play. You know,
Right.
because it was for a metal category.
Right, right.
And our stuff, a lot of our stuff isn't really heavy metal, it's like rock and roll, you know, so maybe they picked that because it was more of a metallic song, you know.
Well, that's interesting because people, like I said in the intro, identify you as this icon of heavy metal, but your history actually goes back, and even in the beginning of Motorhead, there was a punk influence definitely in the early days of Motorhead, your time in Hawkwind, and even before that as a little kid, you were really into different types of music.
Roll,
yeah,
you know.
Tell people about the bands that influenced you as a kid, because I think they'll find that interesting.
Well, the biggest influence on me was Little Richard to start with, because he was, you know, I still think he's the perfect rock and roll vocal, you know. Like joy, you know, joy at being there and doing what he's doing. And then, of course, Elvis, you know, and Eddie Cochran, Fats Domino, Buddy Holly, especially, people like that. And then the Beatles, you know, was the biggest influence on me. I like songs, you see. I don't just like a riff, you know.
Do you find that there's a parallel? Like, can you draw a line from that stuff that you mentioned to through the punk years, through heavy metal? I mean, do you think that there's a connection between the two?
Well, see, so-called heavy metal is the logical successor to the original rock and roll, because just as many people dislike it, and just as many parents are trying to get it banned out of their child's life, you know, which makes the child a little more determined to listen to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That is the seal of approval if your parents hate it, right?
Right, I would think so, yeah.
Of course, you know. So, yeah, there's a line right through to it, through punk as well, you know. Punk was the same thing.
When you guys...
I mean, Elvis was denounced as spawn of the devil right across this country, you know. Now he's a cross between JFK and Joan of Arc, you know.
Right, right. So in the early days of Motorhead, like in the mid-'70s, there was definitely a lot of the origins of the band were rooted in what was going on with the punk explosion at the time, right?
Well, no, we weren't rooted in it because we were before it, but a lot of the punk thing was rooted in what we were doing, I think.
Right, right.
I always thought we had more in common with the Damned than the Judas Priest say, you know.
Right, right. So are you reluctant to kind of wear that crown as, like, you know, all these people saying that you're the godfather of metal? Is that something that, you know...
It's just funny to me. I just think it's hilarious, you know. I mean, if we had short hair, we would have been in the punk rack, you know. And it would still have been wrong because we're a rock and roll band. That's what we do. We just do some of it very fast, that's all.
Very loud rock and roll band.
Yeah, you were at the show.
Unbelievably loud, and just the way you want to hear Motorhead.
Exactly.
So much more still to come as I'm just getting started. Lemmy continues to hang with me this hour and next. Now more classic metal music videos.
Benson show.
All is revealed on VH1 Classic.
You heard it here first.
Well,
it's a great quote, though, and it applied better to us than them, so I just pinched it.
Well, it's yours now.
Yeah.
Lemmy from Motorhead is hanging with me this hour and next, and this is a big year, 2005, for Motorhead. Not only is it the 30th anniversary of the formation of the band, but it's also the 25th anniversary of one of their landmark albums, Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades' classic albums is the story behind the band's 1980 chart-topping British album, which also opened doors for the band in the U.S. The DVD includes music from the album and interviews with Lemmy and former drummer Filthy Animal Taylor and former guitarist Fast Eddie Clarke. Now, Lemmy, throughout the career of Motorhead, there's been a lot of lineup changes. Ace of Spades was a period of time and a record that is so highly regarded by so many people. What do you feel about that particular record that made it so special to so many?
Well, that's special to me, you know. It was just one of our albums, like, you know, I mean, I'm glad it's popular, but I never quite understood why. But then you never understand why people latch onto a certain thing, you know. It's like Let's Creek Bop with the Ramones, you know. It's like just one song catches people, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's mostly because all the people who like it was 16 then.
Right.
You know, it's not that it was better or anything, you know. It was just a breakthrough for us in a lot of ways, you know.
Do you feel, because before that time, there was a lot of change with Motorhead and the early in the mid-70s period, and then coming into 1980?
There wasn't that many considering. I mean, 30 years, we've had one bass player, 3 drummers, and 5 guitar players. Ain't that bad for 30 years.
Well, not compared to most bands, but early on...
Look at Deep Purple and Black Sabbath.
That's for sure. But early on, with the band coming out and the stuff that you guys were doing, coming out of Hawkwind and going into the early days of Motorhead, I mean, there were periods of time before Ace of Spades where you guys almost didn't get to the next step, right? To get to that album.
I mean, they wouldn't release the album that we made for them. But of course they did later when we got successful. They released it then, you know.
Right.
Cash in time, you know. But we re-recorded the whole album and put it out with the new lineup, Eddie and Phil, you know. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I mean, we did get through it anyway, so... And here we are today, even so.
Yeah, and in your mind, you're saying to you that it's more of a fan thing that the record's so special. Where do you rank it?
Everything is a fan thing, isn't it?
Right.
If they don't like it, then it doesn't get anywhere, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. But where do you rank it in terms of, you know, your favorite Motorhead records? Is it up there, or is it
probably
one?
About 4th or 5th.
4th or 5th.
But mind you see, you always like the latest one the best, don't you?
I would think so, yeah.
Because it's your baby, you know what I mean? Well, that was my baby a long time ago.
Right.
It's grown up now, you know. I don't have to watch it all the time.
I think the album is probably so important to viewers here in the U.S. too, because it really was, a lot of people here in America considered it the debut Motorhead album.
Right.
And it enabled you to do some touring in the U.S. for the first time, which was with Ozzy Osbourne, right?
Yeah.
Take us back to that. What do you remember about coming to America for the first time with Motorhead?
Well, it wasn't my first time. I'd been here with Hawkwind, see, but it was Eddie and Phil's first time, and they were like, oh, skyscrapers and all that, you know. Right. And the first gig we did was with Hart and Ozzy at a baseball field in Florida, right? And they were terrified, Eddie and Phil. I mean, you know, it was a big place, but like I'd been here before, you know. And they were petrified, like, and it was a terrible sound on stage. And they were like really disconcerted, but we got on the tour with Ozzy and that was fine, you know. Mm-hmm. It was funny, first impression. I mean, Phil said, can I have a doubles helping of salad, please? You know, in Florida, salad. And they bought him like an acre of salad, you know. It's really funny, I didn't understand. In England, you get this, you know. So that was cool. It's great fun taking somebody to the States who hasn't been there before, because then you can live through them again, how amazing it is the first time, because it is an amazing country, you know.
And you've lived here for many years now. How many years now?
15 years now.
15 years, yeah. And that was an important time for Ozzy, too, because it wasn't long after the whole Sabbath thing went down.
It was his Make or Break tour. It was his first tour alone.
Right, so, I mean, I imagine that was an interesting tour to be on. And then, of course, did you know Ozzy prior to that? Because, I mean, you wrote one of Ozzy's biggest hits. So you didn't know him.
That was later, you know. But yeah, I'd never met him before that tour.
Right. So that was the start of what I assume was some sort of friendship, because then you wrote some stuff with him.
Collaboration, you might say. I wouldn't say I was a great friend of Ozzy. I'd see him a lot and hang out with him or anything, you know. But I mean, I respect him. You know, I know he respects me, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
We're cool. We have a good relationship, you know.
Right. You can't have anything but respect for the man hanging with me during Metal Mania, Lemmy from Motorhead, and we have plenty more still to come. Now more classic Metal Mania music videos on the way.
That's the way I like it, baby. I don't want to live forever. And don't forget the joker.
Ian recently said, Lemmy's the godfather of metal. I'm just happy to be one of his illegitimate kids.
Good one.
And Corrosion of Conformity's Pepper Keenan, COC's out on the road with you, recently said, Lemmy and Motorhead are to heavy metal what Johnny Cash is to country. Compliments like that, they just don't come much higher. The one and only Lemmy Kilmeister from Motorhead.
Yeah, the other man in black.
The other man in black hanging with me during Metal Mania. And you can find out why in a city near you. Just why Motorhead is constantly showered with praise. The band is currently touring the States in support of their great new album, Inferno. For tour dates, check out iMotorhead.com. Bands like Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, really you'd be hard-pressed to find an artist that doesn't cite Lemmy and Motorhead as a major influence. Lemmy, when you hear quotes like that I just read and hear how much you mean to these artists, what does that mean to you? How does it make you feel?
It just reminds me how old I am. Probably. It's great, you know, it's nice of them guys to say so, you know, but they would have been just fine without us, you know. I mean, it's not the point, you know. I mean, it's nice of them to say that. Metallica came down to my birthday, my 50th birthday, and played as the Lemmys with wigs on and moustache and with the tattoo on the wrong arm, all four of them, you know. And they played 45 minutes of our old stuff because that's what they used to play when they were starting out, you know. Did it very well too, I was worried. That was a great, you know, they're the only band so far who put their money where their mouth was as far as a compliment like that is concerned, you know.
Back it up by doing something.
Yeah, by doing something, yeah.
Right. But, you know, I think that the influence from Motorhead on these artists, some of it's musical, but I think it's also the fact that...
Attitude, you know.
Attitude and the fact that you've proven that in more than 30 years, you do it your own way. I mean, Motorhead doesn't change for fads. I mean, it's three guys going out there. You don't rely on radio play, video play, anything, and you have a huge audience.
Up until now, you know. But, like, you don't have to, you know, change everything all the time, you know, because if you do something you believe in, why would you change it?
Right.
You know, I mean, if you really believe in it, then carry on believing in it, you know. And if you like something else as well, you don't have to change to like something else. You can like something else also.
Right.
You know, you don't have to. I mean, influences are different things, you know. I'm influenced by the Everly Brothers, but you don't hear it in Motorhead, right?
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah, it comes from different areas, obviously.
Sure.
Somebody that you worked with very early on as a roadie, which has been documented somewhat, is Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
A lot of people may not know that. What are your memories of that experience, and what did you learn working with him way back then?
I don't remember much. It was the 60s, you know. There's a lot of, shall we say, distractions around.
Right.
He was a great guy, you know. He was really well mannered. Like big guy, used to be in the paratroops, you know. He was a good guy, man. Well mannered, gentleman, you know. And you'll never see a guitar player like that again. Right. You'll just never see it. The climate's wrong now. Now you put people up who can't even play and say they're great because they can do like fast scales.
Right.
Hendrix didn't do that. He played guitar, you know. Right. He played it.
Right.
You know, he played it to death, and then he played it some more, you know. Hendrix was the best.
Did you take a lot from what you brought on to your own music career from that early experience at all?
No.
In his performance and his attitude about playing?
Performance and attitude I took more than the music itself. Although, you know, everybody took something from Hendrix who ever heard him, right. You know. Especially if you saw him live, like I did. So I got to see him every night for nothing, you know. It was brilliant.
Right.
I used to put a chair in the wings and sit and watch him, and I still couldn't figure it out.
Wow. How'd you get it?
Clapton used to come down and sit with his ear on the cabinet, at the back of the cabinet, trying to figure out what he was doing, and he didn't get it either.
Clapton did?
Yeah.
Wow. How did you get a gig like that?
I was sleeping on his roadie's floor, and his roadie was sharing a flat with Noel Redding at the time, and they needed an extra pair of hands for the tour, that's it. And I just got picked up because I was nearest.
Wow.
Lucky, huh?
Amazing, amazing. Lemmy from Motorhead is going to continue to hang with me for the next hour at Metal Mania, so don't go anywhere. metal fans, but I'll give them one anyway. Legendary Lemmy Kilmeister of Motorhead.
Hello.
Lemmy, thanks.
Oh, it's a pleasure. No problems.
We mix a good drink here for you?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I mixed it.
Oh, okay. Then you know you got it right.
Yeah. No problems there. No. I've been mixing them for some time.
The story behind one of Motorhead's masterpieces is now on DVD. Ace of Spades Classic Albums is an eyewitness account of how one of metal's greatest albums was created. Not only does the DVD include rare footage of the band, it also includes new interviews with Lemmy and former drummer Filthy Animal Taylor and guitarist Fast Eddie Clarke, and it's in stores now. Lemmy, how did you find seeing Phil Taylor and Fast Eddie again and making that DVD? Was it cool to see those guys again?
Well, I see Phil quite a bit anyway. He lives in Los Angeles, you know, so he comes around the house now and again, you know. Eddie I don't see so much, but because he's in England, you know.
Right.
But the funny thing was they filmed me and Phil in LA and they filmed Eddie in England, right? And then they flew him into the picture, you know. But they flew him in an inch shorter than me, whereas actually he's an inch taller than me. So I can't wait to hear his, like, you know, reaction to that. That's going to be funny.
So you still get on okay with those guys then?
Sure,
right?
you know, yeah. I mean, you don't hate people, you know.
Right.
I mean, you get along with them, you know. You just can't work with them anymore sometimes, you know.
You know, I was thinking driving in...
3 months on a bus together, you know, you're going to, you know, small things become huge, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, going back 30 years now, did you ever think when you started the band that you'd still be doing this 30 years later and Motorhead would last that long?
But the thing is, you don't think like that, you know. When you're forming a band, you're just forming the band. You know, you don't think beyond today, really. I never did.
Right.
You think, it'd be nice to form a band, let's play the music we want to play. Bingo, that's all you're thinking.
Right.
You don't think, am I going to be doing it 30 years? Because you think you'd be dead in 10 years. You know, when you're 20, well, I was 30 when I formed Motorhead, you know, you think, I won't make 45, and then you get to 40 and it doesn't look so bad anymore, you know.
Right.
Then you get to 50 and then it, you know, and so it goes on, you know.
One of the things that always amazed me about Motorhead was the amount of sound that you guys can make, especially live as a three-piece band. And it's
Anybody can do it with amplifiers.
and man, you got some amps because it was one of the loudest shows, and that's how you want Motorhead. But I was wondering...
So you want rock and roll, really.
Yeah.
How can you have quiet rock and roll? It don't work.
Absolutely. Did you ever want to expand Motorhead beyond the three-piece, or has it always been your vision?
Well, we did for a while. We had a four-piece for a while, but then Russell left again. We were going to get another fourth person, and Phil said, let me do it on my own. So we gave him a German tour to try out, and he was really good, so we left it there. Because you get more money if there's only three of you.
I was going to say, so on a permanent basis, there was never any thought given, like, there was never anything you felt you wanted to do on a permanent basis to expand the lineup of the band?
Well, I never wanted a brass section or anything like that, no.
Right.
I mean, you know, you can do it on albums, you know.
Right.
If you want to expand, like we did a song with just harmonium, one snare drum and a cello on one album in 1916. But I don't think we're going to do that a lot, you know.
Right.
I mean, we're doing that acoustic number on stage right now, you know.
Yeah, that's true, too. And let me ask you about your foot, because this tour that you're doing now in America was actually originally supposed to happen a while ago.
Yeah.
You had some problem with your foot. How's that going?
I had a poison, like a blister that burst inside the boot and went poisonous, you know, and I didn't realise it because I was too busy doing shows. So it got to the stage where it was, like, really nasty. So I had to get off my feet and take antibiotics for a while, you know. It's all right now.
Doing okay.
Yeah, so far so good, you know.
Right. 30th anniversary of the band.
Yeah.
Anything special that you have planned? You've marked some landmarks before with special things like box sets and performances.
Well, Phil's going to have breast implants and my head's going to explode on stage. I don't know, you know, we do what we do. We got a show in LA that's going to feature, probably Phil will come up and do a number on the drums, you know. See what happens, you know. We've got one in June in London at Hammersmith, Odeon, Apollo now it's called.
Right.
Odeon it is in my heart.
Right. So some special guests, maybe, things like that to commemorate the anniversary?
Possibly, but you see, you can't have too many special guests because then it wouldn't be your anniversary. It would be showcase for them, wouldn't it? Like,
Right.
So
Right.
you got to watch out for that, you know.
More still to come as I continue to hang with Lemmy during Metal Mania here on VH1 Classic. Even though he doesn't think he is, one of the true metal icons here on Metal Mania.
If you start thinking like that about yourself, it can get very nasty.
Motorhead's latest album, Inferno, has earned a mountain of positive reviews. In fact, the Associated Press called Inferno the best Motorhead album ever. But that's only part of the Motorhead experience. You must check out this band live, and you can right now, because Motorhead are currently touring the U.S. For a show near you, check out iMotorhead.com. Now, once this tour is over, Lemmy, I've heard talk of you working on your first ever solo record. What can you tell us about that?
I suppose, literally speaking, it's the second one, because I did a sort of 50s rock and roll album with Slim Jim from the Stray Cats.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Danny B. Harvey about four years ago. A couple of Buddy Holly songs, Johnny Cash, and stuff like that.
Right.
At the moment I'm doing this first Lemmy solo album.
Right.
I've got a couple of tracks with a couple of bands I like, you know.
Like who?
Stuff. Two with The Damned.
Okay.
Two with the Reverend Horton Heat.
Right.
One with Dave Grohl. And two with Q Siskin, friends of mine from Germany.
You worked with Dave Grohl, or I should say he worked with you on the Probot project.
Well, we worked together on it, yeah.
Right, and that was a great track on that. How was
Great
it?
video.
Yeah, yeah. Shake Your Blood was the name of the song? Yeah, great stuff.
Chicks in cages and things, which is always fun.
Did you write the song, or did Dave Grohl write the song?
He wrote the tune, I wrote the words.
Because to me it sounded, I mean, obviously he's a Motorhead fan, but it sounded like it was a Motorhead song to me. For
Well, that's because I wrote the lyrics probably, but I mean, it's not like a Motorhead riff, really.
Right.
Not so much through the song. The beginning is, I suppose, the opening riff is.
Now,
anyway, it turned out very well anyway.
Yeah, it was great. And I thought that was really cool of Dave Grohl to do that, to embrace so many of those guys and do a record like that.
Yeah.
There were a lot of cool people on that record.
True to his roots, you see.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, speaking of artists that you are going to have on this record, I had heard a rumor, and you tell me if this is true or not, that you are hoping to work with Janet Jackson on your solo record.
Well, that would be funny, you see, wouldn't it? Because you would never think of that in 1,000 years, would you?
No.
That would sell the album right there, wouldn't it? Just that alone. You know?
Right.
But I'm sure I'll never get anywhere near the girl to ask her myself, you know, because she had this wall around people, you know.
What is it about her, though, that you would like to...
Well, she has a great song I'd like to do, that Black Cat song, you know.
Oh, that was a heavy guitar riff.
It's just an amazing song, you know, and it's really, like, bypassed in her repertoire.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So I thought I'd like to do that, but I don't think I'm going to do it.
But that was definitely the heaviest guitar riff in any Janet Jackson song in that song.
And it worked, too. She worked well with it, you know. I mean, it just goes to show she can do anything. She's a great artist, you know.
What are some of the things that you want to do in addition to working with outside people on a solo record? Is there going to be a different musical approach than what you're doing in Motorhead, or is it going to be...
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, you know, Motorhead's what I do all the time, you know.
Right.
Working with different people, you get a different input, you know, you get different thoughts on the song and the different ideas of where it should go, you know, so the whole thing's a change, you know, which is good, you know, you have to have changes now and again.
That's the thing, though, so many people make solo records and they ultimately just sound like the record.
I know, it's hopeless, isn't it, you know, what's the point of that?
Right, right. When do people, can they expect that record to come out? When are you hoping to get it out?
Well, I'm hoping to get it out by the end of this year, but I don't really think it's going to make it because I only get in between Motorhead and there isn't much of that, you know.
Right. So. And it's going to be called Lemmy and Friends, right?
No, it's going to be called something or other. Probably False Teeth for the Deaf or something. I don't know.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye open for that. That'll be cool. Plenty more still to come as I continue to hang with Lemmy during Metal Mania. But there's a few things I got to ask you. One is the fact that you've got so many years of rock and roll experience and education from being on the road, all the bands, you know, whether it's Hawkwind, whether it's Motorhead, whether it's the Rockin' Vickers, whatever it may be, going all the way back. You learned what you learned being on the road and doing it.
Right.
I'm curious how important you think for some of the younger folks out there watching, maybe looking to start their own band and get going in the music business, how important do you feel music education is in the schools as opposed to getting right out there and doing it in the clubs?
You're never going to learn music in schools because all your mates think it's sissy and that, you know what I mean? And it's, and they get the wrong people to teach it to you as well, mostly. At least they did when I was in school. It's all different now, you know, it's a long time ago. But I still don't think you can really teach the love of music. You either love music or you don't. And if you do, you'll go find out about it all by yourself, you know. You don't need nobody to, like, tell you it's okay. So every band is different. Every person's different who plays music. Some people need to be on the road to learn their chops. Some people don't, you know. Even back in the 60s, you know, you got the Small Faces who had been playing a total of 10 weeks when they were #1.
Right.
You know, so everybody doesn't need to slug it out on the road. It just happens that I did, you know.
Right.
That was the way my career went. But everybody doesn't need to do that. It's helpful, you know. It will teach you a lot of stuff, dealing with people, etc. But I don't think it's necessary.
Speaking of chops, I mean, people may not know you started out playing guitar and then switched over to bass.
Yeah, I was so good I switched to bass.
But on the new album, Inferno, you have Steve Vai on a couple songs, which is...
Yeah, he did very well too.
Yeah, that's not a pairing someone would expect to, I wouldn't expect with Motorhead, but how did
That's
it work
exactly why we did it, you know.
He was a fan of the band.
Stop people being comfortable, you know.
Right.
I was going in the Rainbow when he was coming out, bar in Hollywood, you know, and hello Steve, hello Lemmy. I said, what are you doing? Just finished my album. So I was just 2 hours. He said, do you want me to play a couple of tracks? And like an idiot, he gave me his number, you know. So of course I called him up, you know. He played very well on the album, it fits right in. You see, he could be in a band, you know.
Yeah, he sounds great on the record.
Yeah.
Lemmy mentions the Rainbow. That is where a lot of rock and roll business gets done in the late hours in Los Angeles.
A lot of falling under tables too. You know.
It's very true. I've seen that a lot of times. Final thing to ask you, Lemmy. Not too long ago, I heard a story where you met Pete Townsend of The Who.
All right.
And it's a great rock and roll story, and I think it's funny as hell. Tell the story.
I don't know if a lot of people know about this. He impaled his hand on the whammy bar of his Stratocaster was turned back, and he did the windmill and impaled his hand on it, right? And they had to pull it out, you know, and it was a terrible wound and all that. And then they played the Albert Hall in London, and I went backstage to see John, you know, John Entwistle, and I, hello John, and all that, and he said, hello Pete, and Pete said, hello, and I shook his hand. Oh, no, you know, like, he didn't flinch, I'll give him that, he's a tough cookie, but like, unfortunate moments, you know, he'd like to forget.
Did he run away from you, or did he tell you what happened, or what?
No, I've known Townsend for ages, you know, and I knew that had happened too, which made it even more unforgivable, you know. Still, you know, you screw up sometimes, you can't help it.
Well, I'm sure it's all good now with Pete,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Okay. Lemmy, thank you so much for being here, man. It's an honor to hang out with you during Metal Mania, and much appreciated. More classic metal music videos, and buy the new Motorhead album, Inferno. Great stuff.
And remember, don't drink water, fish in it.